Big thanks to Jane and everyone else at Gibbside Community Farm who allowed us to film there for this week's Lenten Reflection. And thanks to Molly, who provides a challenging reflection on what the Bible has to say to us about climate justice. Enjoy!
Hi Jane, thanks for inviting me here. Could you explain where here is and what you do, please?
Here is a rather bleak field that we call the field, by a road looking down to Gibbside, where we used to work in the War Garden. Now we have this rather large field that we're doing the same thing, which is to grow local, organic, healthy food that we try and make available for local people, because that's what we believe is quite important. So we're trying to grow the best we can here and get as many people involved as possible. We do, although it looks bleak, we have plans over there. Those poor little trees are part of a shelter belt. So in 20 years' time, this will no longer have a wind rushing over it. It will be beautifully calm, and the trees are agroforestry trees, so there's a variety of trees, native trees, trees with fruit. We've got an orchard. So in the future, this will look very different. But for the present, what we're doing is growing vegetables that grow here easily. That's swede, cabbage, leeks. In the summer we have beans, peas, things like that. So we have a wide variety of things available to people. But what we want to say to people is, look, this grows here, eat it. No aeroplanes, no food miles, just healthy food. And that's what I'm part of.
Hi, I'm Molly. I live in Wickham and I'm currently working as a COP26 campaign worker for the Methodist Church. Hearing about the work of the Gibbside Community Allotment Project is wonderful for so many reasons. It's really fantastic to see a community invest in time and effort into a community organised project, which invites other people to get involved. It's also lovely to see a community valuing the importance of growing and providing local food for local people. While providing local food for local people is great because of what it does to encourage strong bonds of community, it's also really important from an environmental point of view. As Jane says in the video, this food has no aeroplanes, no food miles. And there's also an emphasis on growing food that is in season. Eating locally produced in-season food is an important way for our eating habits to take the planet into consideration, because it helps to reduce the number of miles that your food has travelled before it reaches your home. Cutting down on food that has been flown into our supermarkets or grown out of season can help reduce our carbon footprint. I'm grateful that since the climate crisis is becoming more of a concern for people within society, many of us are thinking more carefully about how to reduce our carbon footprint. And as Christians, it is imperative that we be active in conversations around the climate crisis and active in our pursuit of climate justice. As such, we absolutely should be mindful about how the food that we buy and eat has an impact upon God's creation, the very planet that we call home. The Bible celebrates God's role as creator of the universe. In Genesis 1, we hear that God saw all that he had made, and it was good. Psalm 104, verses 24 to 25 says, "How many are your works, Lord? In wisdom you made them all. The earth is full of your creatures. There is the sea, vast and spacious, teeming with creatures beyond number, living things both large and small." We also see God as a creator who cares deeply for creation. We hear in Psalm 65 verse 9 how God cares for the land and waters it. God enriches it abundantly. Psalm 145 verse 17 tells us how the Lord is faithful to all his promises and loving towards all he has made. Being in the knowledge that God is a creator who loves creation really should impact the way that we relate to the rest of the world. As part of how we demonstrate our love for God, we should care about what God cares about, and that includes all of creation. A significant way in which we can display our care is putting careful consideration into how our lives impact the rest of creation, taking extra care to address how our actions can damage, hurt, or disrespect what our God has called good. Because of this, instead of passively allowing our carbon footprint to grow and grow and grow, we should play an active role in ensuring that our lives honour creation instead of disrespecting it. I want to challenge you to ask some hard questions around the journeys that the food that you buy has taken to get to your home. How far has that food come to get to you? What means of transportation has it taken to get to your local supermarket? Can you guarantee that the supply chain is exploitation free? Is there a way of sourcing this locally instead? I hope these questions encourage you to play a more active role in caring for creation.